Yo, mic check 1 2 1 2. Alright, let's get this thing popping, man. Let me start with some intro music, mic check 1 2 1 2. Alright, let's get this thing popping, man. Let me start with some intro music, mic check. Yeah, I did something mad there still. You see what I did? I had the YouTube still playing and I got the screen share going. That's all mad. Can't be allowing them things, man. Big up everyone though, man. Alright, let's do this.
Okay, Riggs.
Life isn't perfect, but who cares? I'm living a dream compared to those facing nightmares. Life isn't perfect, but who cares? I'm living a dream compared to those facing nightmares. Life isn't perfect, but who cares? I'm living a dream compared to those facing nightmares. Life isn't perfect, but who cares? I'm living a dream compared to those facing nightmares. Life isn't perfect, but who cares? It's a dog-eat-dog world, progression in hand with family and friends. Learn to love, honor and care. That's part of the past of when quarrels and disputes will end. For fuck's sake, I'm frustrated and angry at the state of my welfare. But why should I be, man? Should I be sad? As a matter of fact, I should be glad that I got a roof over my head, plenty Akis and Shahar, soul food and a couple of Budweiser. Car, some people ain't even got a penny, let alone or a pound or a bucket to piss in. Look, call me a joke, but he who laughs hardest. Moving forward, there is no time crying over spilled milk. New beginnings, happy new year, laughter and good times. Life isn't perfect, but who cares? I'm living a dream compared to those facing nightmares. Life isn't perfect, but who cares? I'm living a dream compared to those facing nightmares. Life isn't perfect, but who cares? I'm living a dream compared to those facing nightmares. Life isn't perfect, but who cares? I'm living a dream compared to those facing nightmares.
It's a mad thing. Coming up, we never had things. It was all about that money in a bag, quick peas. And it gets peak when you're on the roads and you're struggling to eat. Hustling and juggling to make ends meet in the inner city, where the blocks are grimy, the streets are gritty, girls are pretty, but they're giving up the kitty too fast. Relationships that won't last. Watch the snakes in the grass, guns go blast. All about the papers, I didn't go class. From the low caste, but I still rose up like a fungus, growing in the darkness. Cold-blooded, heartless, looking for a target. Boxes of food getting sold at the market. Looking for a gig, walk in the park. We had to grow faster, struggle from the start.
Life isn't perfect, but who cares? I'm living a dream compared to those facing nightmares. Life isn't perfect, but who cares? I'm living a dream compared to those facing nightmares. Life isn't perfect, but who cares? I'm living a dream compared to those facing nightmares. Life isn't perfect, but who cares? I'm living a dream compared to those facing.
Yeah, big up Louise. Thanks for that, sis. You don't know. Alright, we'll be back shortly. We'll run some tracks. So big up yourself, big up everyone. Man, then where you at?
Amazon online, bought my wifey trainers. Wifey's got me too, Jimmy Choo's like I'm famous. Navigation time, find a way from here to Vegas. Mexico get litty, taking pictures in bodegas. Online, tickets with no warning. Couple hours later, now I'm on a plane, I'm soaring. Got Wi-Fi on my flight, I can check when we arrive. Tell my people not to rush in case my plane don't land in time. Online like all the time, I got doorbell cams online. Look, I'm seeing DHL, I know my parcel's landing, guys. I can see it on my tracker, you can leave it round the side. I'll be back in 20 minutes, I can see my trip online. Online. I got game online. I make hits online. I got pics online. They get extra likes. Came with extra spice. And I'm next in line. All the rinse and easy kicks. And I want them prepped in white. Online, I'm not the texting type. They ain't told you texting died. Man ain't on no texting vibes. Buy clothes online and they're fitted right. Call of Duty bullets fly. Streaming camera do it live. My pics are hella tight. Drop top, whip it white. Credit score looking healthy. Order one and get it twice. Online. I'm off the limit high. Put it on my Instagram. Swinging chain, blinging ice. Tone it down, get it right. Show them how we're living life. Cryptocurrencies online. Open doors, suicide. Online. You could buy this beat online. NFTs, let it fly. Brand new ways of getting by.
I say this with boldness. Speak now or forever hold your peace. We in the last stage, yeah. Bend over backwards.
Yo, big up, Sugar. You done, no?
The first would be last, the last would be first. Dumb and dumber, take notes. Wanna prosper in life? Well, we need to come together, stand up for our rights and be united. Soldier tiger, building bridges is the way forward. In this Mockingjay Hunger Games, young blood, get your faculties right. Betrayal, hatred and failure is for the weak-minded that follow the herd. Not me, I'm the black sheep. I don't lick calves for cash money. I'm a trendsetter, no longer puffing on that Mary Jane, but drinking plenty Corona like Jaquan. Now everybody in this bitch get tipsy. Conspiracy theories, or is it reality? Many people woke but still getting gagged. This is a joke, we living in vanity. Crisis acts, there's plenty liars co-starring like Jim Carrey. But I'm a realist, fuck it, Elon Musk. I refuse to be jabbed, I'm screaming freedom!
Yeah.
I'm screaming freedom!
Yeah. Came up out the dirt, covered in the mud, but they showed me love. The people who I stay around, what was I to do? Struggled in my youth, now I'm big and grown. I got a different edge about me, trying to eat a food, aiming at the moon. Money comes and goes, yeah I know, tell me about it. Story of my life, trying to keep it real, and you know the deal. I'm talking to everybody, yeah. Judo, flip the script, put it in reverse. If you're calling dibs, bro, better be rehearsed. If you're bringing knowledge, though, better be researched. Talking too much grease might end up in a hearse. Bitches take notes, might end up in a purse. When they lose hope, might end up in the church. Bodies in boxes, gwine, end up in the dirt. Jenny smokes rock, might end up on the curb. I can feel the pain, everybody hurts. If I did you wrong, well, I don't really care. Made a little change, and I'm still at work, but the pain never goes away, and it really burns. Covered in the mud, but they showed me love. The people who I stay around, what was I to do? Struggled in my youth, now I'm big and grown. I got a different edge about me, trying to eat a food, aiming at the moon. Money comes and goes, yeah I know, tell me about it. Story of my life, trying to keep it real, and you know the deal. I'm talking to everybody.
Yo. Alright, that's enough of that, man. Big up everyone, man. Thanks for your patience. So we're back for round 2 right now. Hey, Rich LK is on to 92 dread, isn't it? Well, go on, Rich, anyway. Big up anyway. Same speed. Well, go on, Mr. Lottie. Big up yourself. Louise. Everyone who's listening and watching right now, big up yourself, regardless. Let's try and drop some of the beefs out though, because we're trying to have a, we on some G Block vibes today. I know sometimes there's beef on G Block, but we was kind of doing this this half religious debate. It wasn't really a debate, it was more of a heated, kind of the half heated discussion. I wouldn't say fully heated, but half heated. And I just wanted to get back on some of this stuff real quick, man, before tomorrow arrives and we go back to our normal programming. But today, G Block vibes. So, I think 92 Dread, we'd like to see you back up here because I don't know, man. I've got some stuff that I'd like to play for you, to present to you, to talk to you about. So anytime you're ready, when you feel free.
like literally, you go around
Go ahead.
the whole thing, and you both made good points. That is honest truth. Like you both made solid points, and believe it or not, you both had a couple checkmates. Do you understand? Like that's like from where I was sitting. It seemed like at certain points it was like, bang, that was powerful. How do we get away from this? Conversation moved on. Somehow we got away from it. It was like, yeah, man, like it was good. So I was there all the way from when he was talking about, God should judge to it being European. Like, yeah, man, it covers a lot of aspects. Since you're here, I was gonna ask. So obviously, I know the reason I gotta give you some credit is because I know, like, you're not like full blown, away in the clouds. Like, I know you don't take everything word for word. So to hold you to that standard, to like, you understand the beauty of the books instead of just being consumed. I mean, you was talking about, um, men being gods and stuff like that, and I was kind of hearing that whole, like how it started off and blah blah blah. Your whole take on that let me know that you kind of view things a little bit differently.
I hear you.
So that part I kind of swung a little bit towards your side, kind of thing.
You see, when you say that though, yeah, I would say it's not that I don't take the words literally. It's that maybe my interpretation of certain things might be a bit different to what people are used to. And then in the same respect, I think that especially when we're dealing with the religious books, then as far as I'm concerned, it's not I was never set out to prove anything to anyone. There may have been times in the past where I may have been a bit more naive and thought that there's a point to proving something, but at the stage I'm at now, I don't think there's a point of proving anything to anyone. Like, faith is a personal thing.
Funny you said that. I said the exact same thing the other day, Like, I think literally, like, like 20s, I'd even say like 25, even like 27 maybe. Like, the way I was trying to convince people, I thought I was, like, especially loved ones, forget about waste people you don't even like check for. Like brothers and like people close to you. I probably try to change them because I believed that they should kind of like do better. And I got to the realization that you can't change a man. Like, you literally can't. And they have to live their life.
You could try to prompt certain changes in a person, but there's certain aspects of a person that you'll never be able to change. Because at their core, we all start as spiritual beings. So there's parts of ourselves that we don't even know where that came from. Like that. It was something that was in us before we was learning things even. So, to some extent, when you're a child then, that's why you're different to when you're an adult, because you have that innocence. But when you're a child, you view the world in a very naive way. So there may be certain things that you strongly disagree with when you're a child, but as you get older, not that you'd not disagree with them anymore, but your opinion may waver a little bit, or you may you may see reasons for a particular thing to happen that you didn't see before. Like, it's like things like smoking then. How many kids grew up and said, smoke, I'm never going to smoke. And then one day they started smoking or drinking, or certain aspects of life that at that time you didn't understand because your spirit, it never took to you. It wasn't even something that was in your age category for it to, have the opportunity to take to you. Do you feel what I'm trying to say? So, there were many avenues that were blocking you from that thing, as well as yourself, your own intuition saying do you know what? Maybe you saw someone drunk and you didn't like it. So from that point, you didn't like alcohol and something about it didn't take to you. But as you got older, you may have realized that everything has a duality to it. Do you feel what I'm trying to say? So as much as something can be good, it can be bad. It's like they say, medicine is good for you, but if you take too much, it's bad. It can kill you. Do you feel what I'm trying to say?
Too much of anything, can be bad. But obviously that saying is not completely true, because some things just produce good. But
in what regard?
Well, you have some things that only promote positivity and
give me an example of something. give me an example of something you. Well, I hear that. I hear that argument in that sense. You couldn't overdose on God, yeah, and
Yeah.
you couldn't just do
Obviously,
the most. You
obviously,
couldn't do the
according to
most
you,
highest
you
bidding.
can't.
Well, you
Nah,
couldn't do the
nah,
most
of course.
highest bidding all day, every day, and be in some kind of bad situation. But at the same time, the Most High said the
Yeah.
Lord helps those who help themselves. So to some extent,
Okay.
if you just sat there just meditating on the Most High all
That
day,
one.
every day, you'd never feed yourself. You'd
That
never
one's
do.
nice.
You'd never
Yeah.
fulfill certain aspects of life that unfortunately, you can't really live without. You can't survive without food or water. You need to be
Mm,
maintained. So to some extent, you're gonna have to focus on yourself, and that's why it's important for people
yeah.
to understand that the Most High's instructions are, they're based on life, promoting life and longevity in
Of
life and
course
all
they
of
are.
these type of things.
Yeah.
Do you feel where I'm coming from? But I want to talk
Yes.
about from our earlier conversation. I want to talk
Yeah.
about death. I want to talk about
Okay.
um what is the point to even getting involved in any type of spirituality, and then we can talk about some
Yeah.
scientific stuff that might even be connected to some of the stuff we was talking about earlier, because earlier we was talking about what was we talking
Collider.
about again?
Hydron
We were
collider.
talking That's right, we was talking about proving the existence of God, and you know
Yeah.
looking at some modern day kind of stuff that people are dealing with, that I believe is an example of how people are still trying to prove the existence of God. But we can look at
Okay.
some ancient evidence, to suggest that certain things was happening, and how the ancients actually helped us to build certain views in scientific ways. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like when we're talking
Okay.
about flipping what's the thing called, like planets and astrology and all of these things, you know
Yep.
you check the words when they talk about astrology and all of these things. When you start talking about spiritual stuff, you get to a thing called astral projection. And I don't think
You do.
I
Yeah.
think there's always a reason where words are connected. So when someone says astral
Yeah.
projection, astrology, asteroids, asteroid belts, all of these type of things,
Yeah.
in my understanding, I think they're all connected. But some people
Yeah.
would never make the connection. Do you know
Do
what
you
I'm
know when
trying to
you
say?
say it's all connected? Can I ask you your answer? Can I ask you a question?
Mm.
Yeah. Do you believe, like, I find this mind blowing, but let's see what you believe. Do you believe that water came to planet Earth via a asteroid?
See, that one I couldn't prove. I just say anything's
This
possible,
is what
but
this is what mainstream science is saying, you know. That's
well, this is the
mainstream
thing
science.
now.
That's that bona fide
Main,
mainstream science. They're saying
you
an
see,
asteroid
mainstream
licked the
science.
thing, it terraform.
Mm.
When they say terraform,
Yeah,
terraforming planets. This is what Elon Musk is planning on doing. He wants to lick big nukes at Mars, licking it so
mm.
much till eventually it starts getting water. Do you understand?
But you see, when
This
they
is
say
like
these
this
type
is
of
what he's
things,
planning on doing.
science, yeah.
Yeah,
What I realize with our modern day version of science, there's a lot of this modern day science that is directly connected to things that come out of ancient information, and also a lot of the modern day information, some of it contrasts, some of it contradicts the ancient information. But what I find surprising is that these ancient civilizations knew about things that we've only found out in the last 100 or so years,
that's a fact.
in the
That's a
last
fact.
within the last 200 years max. Do you feel what I'm trying to say? So if these
That's
people knew about things we're only finding out in the last 200 years, what makes
what they
us
need.
believe that our modern day scientists know more than them, because they found it out generations, thousands of years before?
Yeah. Can I hit you with something now you've just said that? So you've just said that the people before us had more information than we had. If I was to say to you, and once again, this is absolutely factual, you can get the breakdown off it yourself. This is obviously Bible scripture. Um, with the Noah story, I don't understand why this
Mhm.
don't get more traction and more people don't look into it. With the Noah story, he specifically says the seed. the seed of every animal. He never says every animal. That's a complete lie. Like if you read it, it reads clear. Like man's talking about, like off the animal, not the animal. Like he's taking something from every animal. That's how it reads. And when you start to look at that and you understand that that's exactly what we're doing nowadays. If we're saying that the people before us knew a lot more than we knew, and that's now being proven, I believe that's also one of them things. And that's why a lot of religious texts have been written wrong, because they weren't understood 1,400 years ago, for instance, or 2,000 years ago, to the level that they are now. Because I believe there was a great reset, there was a great, what's the right word? There was a cataclysm that happened roughly 12,000 years ago. And 12,000 years ago will fall in line with obviously Sumerian and all the rest of it. Not that I give a shit about that story. I'm just saying, like, mainstream science and religion and history and everything you can artifacts are saying there was a great flood. Some people are saying that there was paintings. Some people are saying that there was paintings of dinosaurs only 1,600 years ago, and they're saying the dinosaurs here 1,600 years ago they were roughly seen on this planet. So I don't know what your take is on that. Obviously, I've said a lot there, but you know,
I'll be honest, yeah, I thought everyone knew my stance on this. You see, modern day science, yeah, I don't go by it unless they show me in color. Yeah, and the reason I take that stance with modern day science, yeah, is because I think it's important that when someone meets you with a particular stance, say like you come at me with a particular energy, I think it's important that I
yeah,
maintain that energy with you. So because
yeah,
science,
definitely,
especially with religion,
definitely,
expects, or the people who believe in science and not religion, they expect
yeah,
you to prove beyond any shadow of doubt God exists. Bring him here to me now. Bring me the
hmm,
bones of Jesus. Bring me all of these things in living color so I can look at them and touch them and feel them and know that there's no shadow of doubt that what you're saying is true. Now, unfortunately, they don't do the same thing with their beloved science. Yeah. And their beloved science seeks to explain things that were explained to us thousands of years before,
okay. What
that they
what what
only
have you got in your
discovered
mind though?
that
What do you
they
have in
only
your mind
discovered
that
yesterday.
you
There's too
specifically?
many.
But what
There's
do you
too
want the
many.
answer to? Let's see if we can try to find it.
Well, I don't really want the answer to anything. I'm just saying that, science seeks to give us answers to things we already have answers to. And 9 times out of 10, the answer that science is giving us in comparison
Uh
to
huh.
the answers that the ancients gave us is
Yeah.
very similar. So it says to me, science can't be that
Yes.
clever then, because science is just copycatting just
Okay.
like everyone else. So to some extent,
Okay.
science to me is a
Okay.
made up it's a made up profession, yeah, to some
Okay.
extent,
Okay. Let's.
because
All right. I hear you.
when you
I hear you.
say
I hear you.
you
Let's
see
go.
when science says something about, for instance, like a planet, then when science is telling me about planets that are thousands of years or light years away, or however far they are, however you want to measure
Yeah.
their distance, millions of miles away, yeah. Now,
Yeah.
unfortunately, none of us have ever been given an opportunity to go there ourselves, to come back and verify to the rest of us. It's only a very small
Okay.
collective of people
Shall we take
who
that
have
point?
any out of planet experience, first and foremost. And these people who have
Yeah.
gone off planet
Yeah.
have not gone to Mars. They've not gone to these planets, what they say that they know so much about. They have gone as far as the moon, according to
Okay.
NASA, according to the Russians,
Okay.
so to me, it's like if you've never been there,
Okay.
yeah, but you're telling me we sent a ship there, we sent a probe
Yeah.
there, like I can't verify none of that, bro. I'm not hearing it, innit? I'm done at that
Okay.
point. Go, you, yeah,
I
you
obviously
go,
believe. Okay. Okay.
you go.
I obviously believe that is 1,000,000%. Like, there's not a doubt in my mind that they have sent probes and stuff into space. Like, first and foremost. And when you say things like we can't prove, and no, that's exactly what science is doing. They're out here to prove stuff. That's exactly what they're about. They're not claiming to know, they're looking to prove. Yeah, they're looking to prove things, then show you. So it's not even a claim being made. Like, for instance, the Hadron Collider. You heard me when I went on that huge big rant about it. I've said it before. I hope you've taken in and obviously listen to what I said. If not, I can go through it again, and you can tell me if you believe it or if you don't believe it. I'm referring to the fact that time stands still at the speed of light, and that basically means that anytime you're moving that fast, time does not move. Would you think that's a fact, or would you say that's a fallacy? And I'm talking about particles, decaying particles. I'm not talking about no fairy stuff, like as in you moving at the speed of light, you're not decaying, you're not dying. That can
All
be
right.
proven. What's your thoughts on
All right. My thoughts on that are, I don't know if this is something that you picked up by watching The Flash and, you know, Justice League, or if this is something you came up with yourself. But I'll say this much to you. I'll say, I don't think the Speed Force is real. As far as
I think first of all, like,
lights,
like
you
no,
see,
no,
as
no,
far
no.
as
When you say
God,
made up yourself, like it's
yeah,
not. That's obviously tarnishing exactly what that is. Like made up yourself. This is something
mm,
that you can go do your own homework. I'm just letting people know because we mentioned the
yeah,
Hadron Collider quite a few times. I'm showing you a few of the things what they're doing with that machine. One of them is accelerating particles at a horrific speed. Yeah. You got to remember some experiments, it's not traveling at the speed of light, it's traveling just faster than normal. And just by accelerating it faster than normal, you're getting a slower decaying time. Do you understand what I'm
well, they
saying to
say
you?
that
It's like
Hadron Collider
it can be tested, it
moves
can
at
be proven.
it moves at just below the speed of light, according to what we read earlier online. But I'll say
Okay.
this much. I'll say this much. Yeah. Shooting a laser at the speed of light isn't hard because it is a light. Do you understand? But in the same respect here,
Yeah.
you see a person, a physical being moving at the speed of light. I've never experienced it, or know, I don't know anyone who's experienced it. Now, if I had known someone to
Okay. I
experience
can
that,
show you someone.
yeah,
I can show you someone. You see,
who's
like
that?
obviously anyone who would be divine would be able to move beyond the speed of light. And they'd be
Like,
able
for
to like
instance,
be in a realm or dimension that's beyond the speed of light.
give me an
This is what
example
I'm
of
saying.
someone
Like it's
who's
like if you
moved
got
at the
that
speed of
religion,
light.
okay. So I would say like the Most High, like it's not bound by the speed of light, you know,
I
to
would
any
agree with
extent.
that, but remember, the Most High technically shouldn't be a physical being because we're talking about spiritual versus physical. It's like if we
Yeah,
start talking
therefore
about the
not being bound by the speed of light.
all right, so if we start talking about spiritual is a being that's basically made out of light. Do you know, like that?
Okay.
So to some extent,
Okay.
yeah, the Most High could move at the speed of light because he's light. He is the light. Do you understand? And he's
Yeah.
created other lights.
Do you know
You
something?
know. Are you cut out there? You said you know something, then you cut out.
It's like if you're looking, let's say you're looking at a rainbow. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
go
wait and
on.
just okay. Yeah, so I'll go again. So if you're looking at a rainbow, yeah, um, and you say, okay, oh, there's a rainbow, and I live across the road. Do you know that I might not necessarily see that rainbow, and you might only see it?
I hear that.
Yeah. Do you understand how a rainbow works? Like a rainbow is normal light. Yeah, not no colorful light. It's normal light. Yeah. As it's going through a spectrum, it's showing its colors. So that means normal white light is made up of all them colors. Do you understand? All them colors are in white light. So what I'm saying to you is that like when you're looking around you and you're like weighing up um like science and what can be proven. Remember, I'm only saying things that can be proven. The only argument that, I feel, or the scrutiny that you can give is if, are these people telling the truth? That, that to me would be the only scrutiny. But let's not forget that that scrutiny can be put over any argument, any author, any version of any book or anything. It goes across the board sort of thing. Like you can only deal with the information that's presented unless you're going to verify it yourself. Now, light, like white light or normal light being different colors, yeah, you can definitely prove that yourself, as in seeing a rainbow. Do you understand? Like you'll never find the bottom of the rainbow. Do you get what I'm saying? Because it don't exist. Yeah, and as you're moving towards the rainbow, there's a good chance it could disappear because of your angle, the way you're viewing it. You have to stand at exactly the right angle to see the rainbow. Not everyone is going to see it. So, I mean, shit like that can be proven, and that obviously, you know, scientific, astrophysics, whatever you wanna attribute that kind of you know, science to. You could even say like early scientists, like there's scientists that been about like hundreds of years ago that achieved some mad stuff. So and I'm talking about things that could be proven once again. So I don't know what you know when you say you can't believe everything. I don't really understand it. I think the problem is that you can be blocked. You can be blocked in a sense of if you believe that you know everything or you have all the answers, then you can be blocked. Science has been wrong. First of all, science has been wrong so many times. They've been wrong so many times. Like they changed Pluto. Pluto was a you know, was a planet, then it was not a planet because they looked at the size of it, they looked at the orbit. You know, there's so many things which have changed. They even believed that there was a planet X. Now they don't believe that there's a planet X. They discovered that it was just a mistake that they actually made observing it. And when they ran different numbers, you know, there weren't no planet that they thought was there. So there's been madnesses in science, and you know,
you see what you're, you see what
things like
you
that.
see before we go. You see before we go too far off of what you was talking about before. I think the reference that I would make to you here is if you look at for instance, even like you've got people in the Bible then reference things about like the third eye, the astral plane, you know, the pineal gland. All of these things are references that you can find references to all of these things within the Bible. And what I'm trying to say is that we live in this plane of existence. We live on the physical plane of existence. When we start talking about the astral plane, we're talking about where the spiritual beings dwell. So, you know, such things as angels, X, Y, Z are going to dwell within this plane of existence, what we're calling the astral plane. Even people who have, even people who died, X, Y, Z, boom, bam, boom. Now, Urban Analysis has said, Shifatel Nibiru does exist, FFS, LOL. Yeah. Now, if you want to start talking about Nibiru and these type of things, then we're gonna have to start talking about some Sumerian.
I wasn't referring to Nibiru. I wasn't referring to that.
No, you
Nibiru has been proven.
No, I'm just talking about his.
No, but I'm saying to him, just to answer his question. Yeah, it's been proven. Nibiru. We know that that's in the. Let me get the star system. That's in the. What's it called again? Do you remember the name of the star system that Nibiru is in? You can see it. You can see it in the night sky.
You see what you're gonna do now. You're gonna go scientific again.
Yeah.
And this is where I'm trying to show you that we just.
No, I'm just answering his question. Yeah.
We just got two different takes on information because I don't have to go scientific to explain the Nibiru to him. All I have to say is that's something that you get from the Sumerian tablets or the Mesopotamian tablets. Yeah, and they're going to tell you about planets colliding. They're going to tell you about the asteroid belt. Yeah, they're going to tell you how it was formed by a planet being destroyed. They're going to tell you all of these things. Yeah, so, you know, if these ancient people knew about the asteroid belt, for one, thousands of years before any of these Westerners even discovered it, what makes you think they're wrong about Nibiru?
No, but you can see Nibiru. That's what I'm saying. It's like you can see it. Like where they're claiming it is, you can see it, and you're like, oh, it's that star.
I'm just saying for the listeners, though, just for the listeners, what would make anyone think it doesn't exist? Because they've been proven right once already, maybe more than once.
Yes.
Do you feel what I'm trying?
Yeah.
Planets of position.
Yes.
They told us this thousands of years ago. And you know what? Our modern day people, our modern day astrologers and such forth, they've only found these things out recent. Do you understand? We've, like I said, the last 200 years, we've got to that level of astrology where we can prove that these people knew what they was talking about. So what would make anyone think that they was wrong about any of the other things they were saying if we're only proving them right? Yeah. So big up Lady Z. Can I just say to Sharif, can you unmute, talk to us? What's good, bro? Who's Sharif?
Oh shit.
Never heard of you. Never heard of you, mate. Never heard of you. Yeah. So that's what we gotta do. With,
just get
that's what we gotta do.
Yeah.
That's what we gotta do with the
shaving
porn
it down. Get that dick and just wave it down. Yeah, we're shaving it down. Get that wonder, just wave it down.
Yeah, that's what we gotta do with them. We gotta just like make sure we check you out first. But yeah, you're not gonna get into the show. We've worked it out now. You porn bombers love us, man. You love us.
Let's get your cock out. Yeah.
The love ain't mutual. The love ain't mutual.
The love is not mutual. But if it's not your own one, I just thought about it. It's like, if I was to do it, I would just use my own one because otherwise it wouldn't be authentic. Why would you use a video of a next man? Like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna be a horrific man and I'm exposing myself. Obviously, it's like what other way are you gonna do it? They're sending videos. That's sneaky. Nah, man. If you're gonna be having some, bang your own missus on cam and show us. That's probably the best way to do it.
Just to take away from that foolishness, because I don't want to get sidetracked. Look at your screen. I just found this on. This is on Wikipedia. Yeah. So this is what Wikipedia says about the astral plane that we were just talking about. It says the astral plane, also called the astral realm or the astral world, is a plane of existence postulated by classical, medieval, oriental, and esoteric philosophies and mystery religions. It is the world of the celestial spheres crossed by the soul in its astral body on the way to being born and after death, and is generally believed to be populated by, what did I say? Angels, spirits, or other immaterial beings. In the late 19th and early 20th century, the term was popularized by theosophy and neo I don't even know what that is. Rosicrucianism. I've never heard of that before. Neo-Rosicrucianism.
It's probably a religion.
Now I don't know if you can see this little picture at the side here, but you know, I think that's supposed to be. It says the astral spheres was thought to be planes of angelic existence, intermediate between the earth and the heaven. So you know, like these are some kind of pictures you can get to go with it. But I think it's kind of giving us the full gist where I was going with it.
Yeah. No, I think so. I was going to ask, have we established your shape on the earth, just so we're 100% clear, because this will tie into it?
What do you mean, my shape on the earth?
Like, are you a flat earther?
When you say, am I a flat earther? No. Am I a round earther? No, I'm not any earther. I'm just living on earth. Yeah. If you've got the proof, if you could take me in your spaceship and show me the planet is spherical, I'll no longer argue with you. If you can take me in your spaceship and show me that the planet is flat and round.
If that's your criteria, I hear you. Listen, no one should change your criteria. If that's what you need, if that's your criteria, that is fine. Yeah. All I'm saying to you is that would you accept that you can view planets from standing on planet Earth?
This is what I'd accept. I'd accept you can view something that they're telling you is planets from planet Earth.
Okay. I would say to you, do you think that is a I would say to you, do you think that is a very high resolution image that you are seeing when you look up in the night sky?
I have no idea, but I want to answer this question in the chat. Mr. Lottie LK says, why don't you astral project around the world, Shifa? Now, me being an Israelite, astral projection wouldn't be in my itinerary. It wouldn't be something I'd take part in.
Yeah.
If I was gonna have an out of body experience, it would be in relation to the Most High. If the Most High ordained it and prompted an out of body experience, then that would be a blessed one. But if I was to seek it through, you know, opening my third eye or some type of witchcraft or any other type of means, then that would be classed as some type of witchcraft or, you know, demonic type of practices, which, you know, the Bible is really strict and forbidden against. So, you know, it can happen because there are people in the Bible. Hold up, let me bring you a quote. Let me get you something from the Bible before we even go any further. Bam, bam, bam. Let me just change the screen share. Yeah, so we're gonna go to Corinthians, real quick, just to show you this in the Bible. I found it.
We'll have a little look and see.
There we go.
What about, you know, like when you got man like Moses, would you say man like Moses, when the bush started burning, do you think his thoughts were, this is God, or this is something bad's about to happen to me?
All right, hold that question because I want to deal with this first because we already touched on one subject. So let's just finish this one first, before we get diluted. Corinthians, 2 Corinthians 12, King James Version. It is not expedient for me, doubtless, to glory. I will come to visions and revelations of the Lord. I knew a man in Christ above 14 years ago, whether in the body, I cannot tell, or whether out of the body, I cannot tell. God knoweth. Such an one caught up to the third heaven, or such a one caught up to the third heaven, if you didn't understand what it was meaning by an, and I knew such a man, whether in the body or out of the body, I cannot tell. God knoweth. How that he was caught up into paradise and heard unspeakable words which it is not lawful for man to utter. Of such and one will I glory, yet of myself I will not glory, but in mine infirmities. For though I would desire to glory, I shall not be a fool, for I will say the truth. But now I forbear, lest any man should think of me above which he seeth me to be, or heareth me to be, and lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations. There was given to me a thorn in the flesh, the message of Satan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure. So the point we're proving here is, we're talking about outer body experience, but he never talked about no astral projection. He never talked about going to no witch doctor. He never talked about going to the mystic lady. He never talked about going to a psychic. He just said he knew a man, 14 years before, I knew a man in Christ 14 years ago. So he's talking about knowing Christ 14 years ago. Whether that was in the body or out of the body, he can't tell you. Do you understand? Now you're gonna have certain people who talk about there's one I wanted to do. Now I've got one that I'm saving for Natty. Actually, I'm not doing that one. That one I'm saving for Natty. But one thing we can talk about is dreams. So when we talk about dreams and going into the dream state and going into the dream realm, when you go into certain other cultures, like you go into the Asian cultures, maybe the Hindu, and these people who deal with meditation and opening third eyes and rare tear and chakras and blah tear. That's what they're going to be talking about, because they're talking, some people are talking about opening your third eye, but as far as what I've learned about the third eye is open from day one. It's open, and as you get older, it becomes more closed, because you become more closed. Because remember, you started off as a spiritual being, But if you're not exercising it and
Some
using it,
people grow though, you know.
all right, but remember, it's like a muscle. It's like any muscle. If you don't exercise that muscle's going to reduce. Yeah. So you're going to have less control over it. Yeah. But I'm waiting for Natty 2 Dread to arrive here before I do this next one, because he brought this up earlier and brought me down this road. Yeah.
Okay.
He said he said it a few times actually, talking about a man wrestling with God. Yeah. So I had to we had to go there. We had to get to this point of a man wrestling with God and what that means.
Would you just kind of say straight away that that's on the mental plane, or that's a psychological thing? But even a psychological thing, you'd have to say, astaghfirullah. How can you say someone's wrestling with God psychologically?
Well, I'm not.
It's like it
I'm
doesn't
not
make
gonna
sense
say
in
it.
any way or shape.
I'm not going to say it. I've got a nice little video to present that, you know, someone else can explain it. Because I think sometimes what happens is, especially when we're going to do these kind of shows, me just telling you something, it's just me saying it. But if you hear it from me, then you can hear it from someone else. Then you can go and do your own research and you can find something to back it up. Then it's not just me
links
saying
in the back.
it.
Definitely.
You know, like that.
Yeah.
Because you know what? You're late by yourself by day. I thought you'd be here by now. Do you know what? Without further ado, we're just gonna run that video for Natty 2 Dread. So, you know, when he arrives back, or whenever we decides to watch back the stream, then, you know, he'll be able to see for himself. But for everyone who's here, let's find this. Let's make sure I get the right video, because I don't want to play the wrong one. I'm pretty sure it's this one. Yeah. So here we go. Let's go. Let's just get this now.
Almost more than any other when speaking about spirituality. What does the Bible say about opening the third eye? Is it dangerous? Is it demonic? Will I get possessed? Etc. I've noticed that there are differing opinions all throughout Christendom. And in this video, I want to address what the third eye is and what it is not. The Bible doesn't mention the third eye by name, but it does make mention of it referring to the mind's eye and a few other references. What is the third eye? The third eye is the pineal gland that is located in the center of the brain. The pineal gland gets its name because of its pine cone shape. Its function is to produce melatonin, which allows the body to relax before sleep. The third eye is also said to produce natural DMT, dimethyltryptamine, which allows the mind to enter into the dream state. This DMT allows individuals to see images through rapid eye movement, which is how we dream at night. Many mystics have learned how to tap into the dream state and to enter hypnotic trances, which is literally biohacking the mind to enter into this state. These mystics understood that the dream state is one of the biggest ways that God speaks to individuals, and by tapping into this trance state, they could commune with God. In Eastern religious thought, such as Indian traditions, the third eye is labeled as the sixth chakra, and by opening it, one can achieve enlightenment. From a biblical standpoint, we are enlightened after receiving.
So the first point I was talking about earlier, when we was talking about Jesus being the light of the world, the bright light, and Satan also being a light. And I said it's to do with enlightenment. It's to do with, you know, having certain types of information more than it's a reference to the light from the sun or something like that. You know, this is what we're doing, where we're able to communicate with the Most High, or if you don't believe in the Most High, you're able to communicate to, you know, the spirit realm and get enlightenment, information to some extent. So let's just finish this up. Let's finish up real quick.
Obviously, does he mention how you get there?
Illuminated with the light of Christ. This illumination or awakening from slumber is not the end of spiritual enlightenment, but the beginning. But the natural man perceiveth not the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness unto him. Neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned. 1 Corinthians 2:14-16. What does the Bible say about opening the third eye? Jesus says that the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. But if thine eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness? Matthew 6:22-23. This saying is in direct correlation with being double-minded versus allowing the mind's eye to be single and be focused on God, which is peace, harmony, and light. The third eye is the place where God meets with us. It is also the door by which an individual is able to see into the spirit realm by way of spiritual gifts such as the discernment of spirits, quickening, words of knowledge, words of wisdom, dreams, and so on. One key scripture to look at concerning the third eye pineal gland is in Genesis 32:22-32, where Jacob wrestled with God. While Jacob was at the river Jabbok alone, he wrestles with God and is left with a bruised hip and a blessing. During his struggle back and forth.
All right, make sure everyone's listening. Yeah, I'm going to rewind this bit back just to make sure everyone gets this fully. So next time Natty's here and wants to talk about man wrestling with God, yeah, and want to talk about man I wrestle with God. Yeah.
Yeah, man, I put eye upon them body and wrestle with God.
Yo, I and
Oh,
I,
shit.
yo, let me make him know so we have the information
That's a
for you
mad
now.
thing.
Watch her now.
Learning the third eye pineal
Okay.
gland is in Genesis 32:22-32, where Jacob wrestled with God. While Jacob was at the river Jabbok alone, he wrestles with God and is left with a bruised hip and a blessing. During his struggle back and forth with God, Jacob grabs hold of God and says that he would not release until he blesses him, and that's exactly what Jacob received. After this encounter, Jacob called the place Peniel, saying, "It is because I saw God face to face, and yet my life was spared." The pineal or pineal gland is where each and every individual wrestles with God. It is where the battle between good and evil is fought within the mind of each and every person. The Holy Spirit even works with our consciences, writing God.
Blood fire, yo, let me reload that for them.
mad
Yo, that's
It's a
the
mad
yo, too
Yeah,
good.
but
Where
I
you
don't
there?
understand what was the dispute when you're saying like what was I must have missed that part. What did he say about wrestling with God?
Well, this is the thing.
Like what was his standpoint like
When
about this
people
whole thing?
reference the Bible, yeah, they like to reference everything as physical, yeah. But this ain't talking about
Okay.
something physical. It's talking about something metaphysical.
But that's what he's
spiritual.
saying. Yeah. And I understand you're saying he astral projected to them, like he obviously went to another place to do that. That's what you're saying,
What-
right?
What is the place called where he did it?
I would say it was in his mind.
The place where he wrestled with God. What did he call it?
The astral planes, what did he call it?
Pineal.
Okay, the pineal gland, yeah, that's the part of the body. That's the part of the body, but that's not where he wrestled with God.
That's what he called the place where he wrestled with God. Listen to it again now. That's why I made sure I played it again.
Yeah, I know that the verse, I know that the verse reference it. But I'm
why
saying
does he call
like,
the place pineal?
okay, cool.
Why does he call the place pineal? And when we talk about the mind's eye, we're referencing the pineal gland. Why is that? Do you think that's a coincidence?
It's mad. It's a madness. I guess that's not a coincidence. I see where you're going with that. I guess that's not a coincidence. Yeah, I guess that's not a coincidence. Yeah.
Listen again.
Yeah,
listen to
that's
him
a bit
again.
mad. But
I'm gonna play it one
yeah.
more time.
No, I heard it clear as day. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me just get it for the viewers though, so they know. So there's no confusion.
God's law upon our hearts as we journey on the narrow path between right and wrong, good and evil. No matter what an individual does during his waking hours, when he hits his head on his pillow each night, when his eyes close, he will give an account for all the things he has done with his time for that day. This is also said about our time on earth into eternity. By keeping our hands clean and heart pure, we may boldly stand before the throne of grace with the mind of Christ and with a clean conscience. If an individual continues sinning after the grace of God's conviction, he will be given chances to repent, change his mind. If he does not, then that individual is given over to a reprobate mind, which is why the Bible says, today, if you hear his voice, not harden your hearts, as in the rebellion. Hebrews 3:15.
If anyone wants to hear more of that
Yeah.
video, like look at the title, go find it. But I think my work here is done. And I
Yeah.
think that from when
You
we
know
can
what?
reference,
I obviously I hear you. No, I
Yeah.
hear you. Let's sum up, because you're obviously saying that look, there's even proof biblically what he's talking about, so no one can deny it, and it's biblical, like it's text. There's everything. Like this is what they're talking about. So
Mhm.
if you anyone who misunderstood that verse, you need to do your homework. Basically, that's what you're
100. 100. And then the thing is now,
saying.
once we can
Yeah.
understand this information in a certain context, like I said, this man is wrestling with God in his mind. If we know
Yeah.
that our connection to the spirit world is through our mind,
Yeah.
and through our third eye,
Yeah.
and these ancients knew it, then that information must be coming from them, because modern day science don't promote that.
Okay.
But we
No.
also know.
Can I ask you something then? Just on that point, like obviously when we broke down this information last time, we were saying that exercising and going, into your pineal gland and into that sort of place, we were saying that there could be a possibility of demons there, and I was more saying no, you'll meet God there.
Well,
I mean, has
this
your
is the thing.
stance changed on that?
This is the thing now. It depends on how your pineal gland's been activated. And I'm saying to you.
Okay, but I have to say one more thing. Also, I'm going to use your evidence where you just proved has someone used their pineal gland to speak to God. So I'm referencing your evidence. That's why I didn't rubbish your evidence to use as my evidence for God being there. And I wonder if you could bring me a bigger evidence that would contradict that. Like we're talking about historic old school knowledge. We're talking about Egyptian pictures on the wall of the pineal gland. There's so many different ways we could go into it. Yeah.
No, but
and
you're not hearing
in
the
this,
you're not hearing
they are
the
meeting
context.
God.
You're not hearing the context. Yeah.
Yeah.
If the Most High comes to you, he's gonna connect to you through your pineal gland. It don't work the other way. You don't just go to the Most High like that. You don't command him. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So when you open your pineal gland and start trying to connect
obviously
with
that's
things,
one of the biggest problems. Yeah.
If you start trying to connect with things, you don't know who or what you're gonna get. You don't know who's gonna be on the other end of that line.
Yeah. I'm saying God's gonna be there, and this is what I'm saying. It's like if you go, you might not get an answer like he's no. Like one of the biggest problems. Have you ever seen the film Noah? Have you seen Noah?
Yep.
Yeah. What do you remember the guy who basically gets on the ark in the towards the end? He's an English actor. Whatever.
He's an old man.
And he's like, okay, I don't know if he's an old man. Ray Winston. Is it Ray Winston? I think it is. Yeah, it is. That's his name. Yeah. And basically, he says in that film all the time, his biggest problem is that God won't speak to him. And during the film, he's like, why won't you converse with me? Do you understand? It's like, that was his biggest, like, he's not speaking to him. He's doing everything. This is way back in the day. God knows, you don't know how he's astral projecting or what he's doing to try to speak to God, but God will not converse with him. So obviously I understand that you can't just go there, like obviously on psychedelics or anything like that and expect God to be there. No, he might not be there. But to say that there's going to be demons in God's house, no. I don't think that's correct.
No, but that's incorrect, because when you're talking about the astral plane, is not just God's house.
Yeah.
It's where all the spiritual creatures reside.
Okay. So when God goes there, don't he clean up Does he just ignore them? Like,
No,
what does he do? Don't he like say, you lot fuck off? Don't they have enough respect for God to kind of like think, oh shit, God passes through here? Let me tell you something, yeah. You see, like my Rottweiler, where he pisses, other dogs don't really go because they know who's been walking there. Like, it's as simple as that. So you don't hang around too far. And I think God should have even more of a presence. Where he's been or touched, how can you have demons just like scattering around, you know, after already sort of like, you know, conceding to the fact that, or agreeing, shall I say, not even conceding, agreeing to the fact that that's how God communicates with you. And that was fully co-signed, and there was an understanding on that thing, and there's still an understanding on that fact. How are we then saying that demons also co-inhabit that place?
That's quite an easy one. Yeah. Without the good and evil in the world, there'd be no judgment. It wouldn't exist. There wouldn't be good and evil.
Okay.
So it has to start spiritually first.
So you're saying God's allowing evil?
I'm saying God created evil.
Okay. So yeah, God created evil. So obviously, if God created evil, then, you know, how does that help us view the Lord? Do we view him as balanced, as in it's just the way things are, create and destroy, or is it just the understanding that we can't fathom? Is it just a mindset, even though we know there's destruction within God? Is it just a mindset that we can't even begin to understand, you know, the workings of a brain or the workings of a, you know, thought processes?
Well, it's not a human
that the Lord
process.
has.
You're right. It's not a human process.
Yeah.
That's an excellent answer. But then in another sense, as much as it's not a human process, remember, the Most High struck a deal with the devil. So anyone who the devil can bend to his will, he can have. Yeah, and they're not going to make it to the kingdom. So as much as the devil is an adversary, he also has a function. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And he also has his own throne, his own kingdom. Where does that kingdom reside? In the spiritual. That's why people get possessed by demons.
Yeah.
And that's why I believe that people can also be possessed by angels. Because, you know, once our third eye is open and our soul is off in the spirit realm, yeah, does that leave us open to attacks from other entities? Or does that leave a space to be filled by other entities?
Okay. Can I ask you something? Do you obviously, you know, when you say angels, do you believe that there's angels out there which have just like bodied humans? Like, what's your views on that?
When you say bodied humans, in what regard?
There's angels like humans. There's no other way to sugarcoat it. Like, caught bodies out there. Like, they've caught bodies for less. It was just like they were on their thing and boom, you know. It's a bit like even like Sodom and Gomorrah. It's a bit like there was an angel there as well who just turns up at the door at one stage. You understand? And it's like these angels back in the day, at least, if we're to go by obviously the stories, it's like they were a lot more active and they were doing a lot more bidding on earth, to the point of even having sex with like females and stuff like that. So I don't know. This is what I'm saying. It's like, I don't know what your thoughts are, because if you're saying God is fallible, I'm definitely saying angels are also fallible. That's my answer on that. Yeah, I don't know if you're having difficult teas there or whatnot, but yeah. So I think it works both ways. There's no question about it. Like I said earlier as well, I'd always like to, you know, break down the understanding of someone who claims all the answers are in a book. I cannot see why someone would take that stance, because once you take that stance, you throw away all science, all reason.
Did you say that God is flammable? I'm confused. Talk to me.
Fallible.
All I have to say is,
Fallible.
my God,
Oh,
I don't know
fallible,
about like me.
fallible.
Certain boy don't know about like me. They
What
can't
makes
go
you
Yeah.
say
deep
that
down
though?
like me.
What makes you say God? What do you makes you say when you say that? You mean the Most High
I
is
think we
fallible?
I
When you
think we
say that,
said it together.
Maths and my
I
English
think
and
we
my
both said it
biology.
together. You
They
said he
can't
created
take me for my
evil.
technology.
that doesn't make him fallible though.
My
Okay, so
God, I
what?
don't know
So you're
about
saying,
like
okay, he was perfect in his destruction. How about that? He was perfect in his chaos.
What does
I
that
can
who you
mean? What
agree
does
to
talk
that
that
about?
mean?
Who you talk
because we
about?
don't understand the
Who
design.
you
Yeah.
talk about?
Hold on, one sec, now. What do you mean by
God.
perfect in his destruction?
Where him?
Explain.
Where him there?
Okay.
Now let him
So you said
let
God
him just
created
finish.
evil.
Let him just finish. Let him just finish.
Yeah.
Okay. Your
Are you
point
saying
is,
God created evil? Yeah. So if he created evil and destruction, as in, as
Him create
as
good
in the
and
flood
evil.
and all of
What
that.
you talk about, my
Yeah.
youth? And my youth talk to me. You mean
Yeah.
him create evil?
So
Kind of wickedness are this?
him did it, you know.
Him do the thing.
Warmed him. Yes, I got that. Yeah. So obviously,
Blood
if he's done all this madness, yeah, blood fire. Yeah.
Yeah, blood
Keep
fire
going.
on his ass,
If he's
bro.
done all this madness,
Yeah, blood
yeah.
fire on him, bro.
if this has all gone down, if this is what he's done, I'm saying, are you saying that was a perfect mindset and there was a thought process behind that? So therefore, God is still perfect, but yes, the destruction was, but he's got blood in his hands.
Hey, you know what? The wickedest thing, yeah, is how God has got scriptures on how to beat your slave. Can
Are you asking
explain
Natty
shit?
that question or me? Who are you asking that question to?
It's an open question still. Yeah.
Oh, I go. You answered it, Natty. Go on, you go.
Not directed. It could even have been a what's it called? What do you call them questions that don't need
I've got the
rhetorical?
answer.
It might even have been.
I've got the answer.
Yeah.
For you. A crazy man with a crazy idea would create Eve and tree. A crazy man with a crazy idea would create a Satan.
And put it in him
For we
garden
to
for
deal
him
with.
pitney.
For we
For
to
him
deal
pitney
with.
to yam the fruit.
For him come near your blood clot and possess
No
you.
sir,
And
him have snake, him have poison apple, him have a blood clot dangerous thing in him garden.
Have you ever heard this? Have you ever
Yeah.
heard this in a sentence before? Necessary evil.
Yeah, we
no, not until
understand
you
that.
brought it up.
We understand that.
I know.
We're not,
I'm asking if you've ever heard
we're
it in a
not like,
sentence. But if you
Not
haven't, just say
until
no.
hear it
If
come
you
out your
have, say
mouth.
yes. You've never heard the sentence used.
yeah, I'd
Necessary
say
evil.
eating meat. I say eating meat is a necessary evil.
Okay. So, unfortunately, what it is that we've got a double standard sometimes. Yeah. In the sense of we would say, oh, well, God's imperfect because he created evil, but we know we can't exist without it.
Me don't know that.
You do know that.
All I know is
If hold on one
No,
second. No, one second, Natty. 1 second. Hold up. No, let me prove to you that you do know it. I'm gonna prove to you that you do know it. Let me ask you a question. What is evil? Hold on, Natty. Yo, Sham.
Yeah.
What is evil? Define it for me.
Evil is you.
A murder.
Is evil the opposite of good? Hold on. Is evil the opposite of good?
Yes.
So how can
Not
one exist
necessarily,
without the
but
other?
it can be.
How can it? Hold on 1 second. 1 second.
Yeah.
How can an opposite exist without its opposite?
I
Make
would say
sense of
they're
that for me.
two wings of a bird. They're two wings of a bird. They're part of the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah?
So one can't exist without the other.
That much.
So one can't exist
Yeah,
without
because
the
they're
other.
part of
One
one.
hand washes the other. All right. So when we talk about evil,
Okay.
yeah, let me show you something. People do evil all the time. They just don't see it as evil. Like when we kill insects. I burnt one today. That was evil. Yeah. But let me show you something. Insects can cause pestilence and poison and what's the thing, like the disease and these type of things. So there's a necessary evil there, ain't there? There's a balance. You can't be all good. None of us are all good. That's why we need salvation. That's the whole point. That was the whole. Like, if you ever read the story of Jesus, ain't that what it's about?
Yeah.
Do you feel where I'm coming from? Because without knowing that knowledge, we can't really reach salvation. We're fallible. Yeah, we're fallible creatures, bro.
Yeah.
We are. Same with any religion. It's about salvation. All religions are about salvation. Do you feel where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
So once we get into it like that, you know, you can't have good without evil. Without evil, without the bad, there couldn't be a good. So everything's part of the plan. Even the devil's part of the plan. Because guess what? The Most High needed to know your heart before he just let every and anyone into the kingdom.
Okay. Yeah.
Can you
see exactly
every
what
and
he's done
anyone
here?
can't just go into the
He had to
kingdom.
take the stance. Okay. Can you see the magic in what he had to do there? Listen. He made sure that he had to accept the stance of good and evil. He wasn't gonna fight a stupid battle. He's not.
Can you hear me?
You know, he's not gonna fight what's it called, a nonsensical battle that's gonna get torn up like two pixels on a fucking piece of meat or something. Yeah, that don't make sense.
Yeah, you can't fight against
straight
the Most
away we
High,
have
bro.
to
You
establish some sort. No, you can't. But yeah, I see.
Evil has to exist. Unfortunately, it has to exist.
It has
And
to
even
exist,
if we
bro.
said,
Yes.
even if we said the Most High never created the concept of evil, but the devil created the concept of evil. The Most High created the devil, therefore he created that concept along with him. He placed that enlightenment, that power within him. If you know where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I'm to bad mind. Yeah.
Well, including the bad, the ugly,
no, that's the
the
realness
vicious,
of it.
the nasty. Everything was created by the Most High, and that's why everything and everyone had the chance. Well, everyone, had the chance of salvation, even the murderers, because the Most High knew, and everything was a test to some extent. You know, he was testing humanity through the individuals.
Yeah. That's why you see, even on that argument, I remember there was a conversation about like what black people, you know, invented and whatnot. And obviously someone said, oh, that means black people must have created all the fuckery as well. And straight away the person said, yes, unfortunately, that is also true. And it's kind of like whether you're talking about a people or anything like God, it's like you have to take the rough with the smooth to kind of get an understanding. Because let's face it, innit? Like there's been a lot of things that were done in a sense of places were destroyed, millions of people were killed if we're to believe the stories. So the man's not claiming to be the most kind. Remember that? Like one of the sayings is it is the most merciful, but it's not the most kind, isn't it? So maybe mercy is shown a totally different way. I do believe to a certain extent that we do come back. That you know when we were saying about living through your ancestors, I don't think that is total nonsense. I do think to a certain extent we do live through our ancestors. And even though someone said, "Oh, look how quick you forget your granddad," and that was scary when someone says that because it's real talk. You forget your granddad. It's like it don't take long for you.
See, but I see it the other way round. I don't see it as we live through them. I see it as they live through us, because their DNA is still living and residing within your code. So they still live through you.
I think
I just see it the other way round.
That's
but obviously,
because they live. No, you're right. Check this. Because they live, through you, they don't need to open up their mouth and blah 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 blah. They want to forget about the granddad because they're living through you. They're promoting you. They don't want you to be stuck in the past. They want to live.
But that's the whole point in me saying there's no need. There's no necessity to renovate your ancestor or to renovate granddad, because guess what? Granddad is part of me. So do you know what? Everything I'm doing, he's doing. He's still here. There's no need to renovate him. I'm renovating him by living. I'm honoring him by living, by doing the best with what we have left on this planet Earth. Yeah? Do you feel where I'm coming from? And this is why there's... All right, but this is where there's a controversy where, you know, you've got these African traditional systems and, you know, certain even European systems what like to honor people to a point of worshipping people. Do you feel where I'm coming from? And it's like, once you get into that stage of worshipping people, remember that person is no more than you are. So that's diminishing the whole concept of
Yeah.
what worship's supposed to be about. You're supposed to be worshiping something that is, you know, powerful, that's able to change things, to do something
Yes.
for you. And that man can't do nothing for you, you can't do yourself. You know, like that. So,
Yeah.
you know, you're worshiping to no
Of
good
course.
end.
Of course.
Long story short of it.
Yep. No, I would agree.
Well, from the
I would
Christian
agree
perspective
on that
anyway, from
sense.
yeah, from so if that's your thing and that's what you're into, I can't say to you that what the implications are because I don't study. I'm not into it like that. But as far as you know, the Christians, the Israelites, you know, anyone who is of that faith that follows Yeshua, you know, or the Most
Yes.
High, however you want to put it, yeah. Bam, like we're not dealing with that, cuz we're not dealing with praying to our granddad. We're going to pray to the Most High. Some
Yeah.
people pray to Jesus, but you notice within the Catholic Church, within the Jehovah's Witnesses, within the Israelites, we don't pray to we pray straight direct. But that don't mean you can't pray
Yes.
through Jesus, because Jesus, no man can go to the Father unless he goes through Yeshua. So that don't mean you can't pray to Yeshua.
Yeah.
That don't mean you can't. It just means that, you know, some of us we just go straight direct. You know, like that. What? I ain't
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with praying
Do you?
through Yeshua.
No.
Should I open my
But you
third
no,
eye?
you done something
Contrary
that
to
was
popular
very
belief, there is
surprising.
no
Like,
opening the
what's like
third
what's your
eye.
thoughts on
Everyone
Jehovah's
is born
Witness?
with their third eye
Because
already
when you
open,
put Jehovah's
but over
Witness in the
time
same
it becomes
category as
calloused,
Christianity,
calcified,
it
much like a muscle.
confuses me.
It really
You know,
comes down to
gotta be honest.
use it
I've
or
never
lose
really
it.
spoke of
If a person's muscle
Jehovah's
isn't
Witness in
being
the
used
same
over
breath.
time, the muscle will begin to atrophy and waste away. This is the natural process as the body
I
will
hear you
allot
still.
more
Do you know what?
energy
I don't know how
to the
this video
areas that are
started, man.
needed
Hey,
most to
Sham.
function. Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
Literally.
Hey, Sham, can you
Don't
stop the
ask me.
screen share?
Don't ask me.
Have you got that function on your phone?
No, I can't.
Yeah, we need to stop
Absolutely,
that.
I don't. Yeah, absolutely, I don't. No. So that's what I'm saying. It's like that's how I see things. I just think when it comes, I
I
know this
think
is a
someone's
side
messing
note,
with
and we weren't even really
the
talking about it. But
computer, to be
okay,
fair. Someone was messing with the computer because I ain't at home. But
someone is just watching videos. Oh, that's mad. Okay, well, that's crazy. Let's have a look here then. Let's have a look.
well, when I say somebody,
Genesis 32,
it
22 through 32, where
has to be
Jacob
my missus because
wrestled
there ain't no one else in my
with
house.
The
So if
Arthurian
that is
people,
you
the
messing with the
Lydian
video,
people, and the Syrian people came to this world.
with God. While Jacob was at the river Jabbok
computer,
alone,
please leave it
he
alone.
wrestles with
Appreciate
God
it.
and is left with a bruised hip and a blessing. During his struggle back and forth with God, Jacob
I just
grabs
don't
hold of
understand
God,
this
who
behavior,
says
bro.
that he would not release until he blesses him, and that's exactly what Jacob received. After this encounter, Jacob called the place Peniel,
Oh my.
saying, "It is because I saw God face to face, and yet my life was spared." The pineal or
Mad.
pineal gland is where each and every
I don't know
individual
what the hell's going on,
wrestles with God. It is where the battle between
bro.
good
I
and evil is
literally don't know
fought
what's going
within
on.
the
I don't know how
mind
to
of
solve
each
it.
and every person. The Holy Spirit even works with our conscience, writing God's law upon.
Yeah. Okay, has that fixed it? I believe.
Did you yeah, I don't know what was going on there, mate. Like, anyway, so let's just move on. We've had that experience. Anyway, I think we've kind of, we've kind of buried this subject a little bit. So I'm not going to go too much deeper on it. I'm just going to say that for anyone who's confused at what astral projection is, anyone who's confused as to, that story that Natty wanted to reference to a man wrestling with God, we've given you the reference, the biblical reference. It was in the video. Anyone who wants to go and look that up, feel free.
Yeah.
We've explained to you that, as far as opening your pineal gland or experimenting and trying to make communications with obviously Sham has made it clear that he believes you'll end up communicating with the Most High, but I believe there may be cases where that's not the case. So I think we're just gonna wrap it up there. I don't know if you got the can you push the end on the show? Can you end it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
All right.
let's end let's end it on that.
Big you up, and we'll obviously take it from tomorrow then, yeah? All right. Big up everyone.
All
Big
right,
up the
broski,
chat
nice
as
one.
well. You lot were funny today.
All
All right.
bless, cuz.
Cool.
Bless.
Bye.
Done though.
Yeah, cool. I'm pressing this thing. Come on. There we go.